Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the last session in here for today. I so appreciate you showing up. I know 3:30 is a difficult time, but I hope you got a snack out there and a coffee and a drink to get you through to the happy hour. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to dive into this session. And over the next 30 minutes, we are going to be talking about the opportunities that exist globally and in the Asia-Pacific region for app developers. So a quick roadmap to what we're going to cover in this session. I'll do a quick introduction to myself. We will look at what merchants are looking for when they are considering and choosing to use apps. We'll have a look at some global merchant needs right now, as well as some more local Asia-Pacific needs that your app solutions could help to solve. And we'll finish on how you can find opportunities by looking in your own community. And we'll probably have some time at the end for Q&A as well. So please, as we're going through this, any questions that you have bubbling up, save them for the end, because I'd love for us to be able to go through them then. So this is me. I'm a launch engineer at Shopify, and I work with some of the biggest merchants on the platform to help them go live on Shopify. And I'm lucky in my day-to-day that I get to cross over with so many fantastic partners and developers like yourselves. A fun fact about me, I also used to be a Shopify merchant. So I had a business. We sold skincare products made out of reused coffee grounds, which hopefully for any Melbourne coffee fans, that interests you. But I learned a lot during the time running that business. I learned a lot about the Shopify platform. And I also learned a lot about and used a lot of Shopify apps. So every day, new businesses are getting started. And merchants are, if they're like almost all other successful merchants on the platform, they will be using apps built by people like you. But the number one question that we get asked from our partners is, how do merchants choose those apps? And what are they looking for, and how do they want to use them? There we go. And so, like I said, almost all successful merchants on our platform are using apps. And if you want to know what I mean by almost all, 3 in 4 merchants use apps. Just let that sink in. 3 in 4. And about 6 merchants are using, on average, 6 apps. But I can tell you from working with countless merchants through launch engineering, it's often way more that they have installed. I've seen like up to 30 or 40 at the top end. So the demand is there. The partner ecosystem made up of all of you is continuing to grow and accelerate. And to put that partner ecosystem into perspective for you, to put that growth, to put some numbers to it, and the ecosystem, which involves everyone from developers to designers, marketers, accountants, logistics providers, and so many more professionals helping our merchants to succeed. In the 2020 to 2021, partners increased earnings by 45%. We heard this stat earlier in the keynote. It was a figure around 32 billion, and that number was grossing 7 times Shopify's own revenue during the same period. So again, that is massive. Just let that sink in. So, what are merchants really looking for when they are considering apps? What is it that they want? We asked merchants this question. We did a survey globally, and here is just some of what they were saying. Obviously, they want the app to solve a problem for them. Logical. They also want apps that are easy to use, affordable. They want them to be fast, but fast on the front end if a customer is interacting with them, but also fast in the back end, in the admin, for them to use. They want apps that work on mobile just as well as they work on desktop. And they want apps that comply with any regulation in that region. They want to know that data is being handled and stored properly. And they also want to be able to see how the app works before they're going to install it through great demos or examples on real live stores. And finally, and most importantly, they want to know if they install your app that they're not alone. Can they get support when they need it? And can they see from their merchant peers who are using the app some positive reviews in the App Store to say they've had great experience with it? So now that you know a little bit more about what merchants are looking for when they're choosing apps, let's talk about a big, capital B-I-G, need right now for merchants globally. And I gave this away in the agenda very early on, but that opportunity is to help merchants with merchandising. This really is a huge opportunity in the ecosystem right now, and your solutions can help solve this problem at scale for merchants around the globe. So you might be wondering at this point, what even are merchandising apps? Well, you may have an idea of what they are or what they are not. And it's pretty simple. A merchandising app is any tool that helps to promote and sell to potential buyers. So that's pretty broad. I mean, this is a category where there are so many niches that you could capture. There's so much room for new entrants into this space. It covers everything from product variations to support for gifting, product recommendations, enabling additional purchase options like upsell, cross-sell, subscriptions, product display options, and more. That's just really scratching the surface. So why do we think that merchandising is such a great global opportunity for app developers? Firstly, it has the fastest growing search volume in the App Store year on year, and merchandising apps are the most frequently installed. But despite those two facts, they still have low penetration among active shops and within specific industries. So this is a huge opportunity if you can find a market segment that is not served very well by current merchandising solutions. So there's loads of room, and whilst there are a lot of opportunities that we will be discussing today, this is definitely one to be extremely excited about. So let's dive into a couple of the opportunities and subcategories of the merchandising space. I really wanted to highlight these three areas. So additional purchase tools. We've touched on these a lot throughout the different sessions in today's Unite programming. But this really is about how can you enable additional purchase for the merchant. Think pre-orders, try before you buy, subscriptions. A lot of these things are yet to penetrate many industries. And that's where your app can potentially find that market segment and make a solution for them. Pricing apps is another one. Pricing apps are so huge at different points of the merchant's customer lifecycle, as well as their customer's lifecycle. Think of things like customer-specific pricing, bundle pricing, combinable discounts is also wrapped up in pricing apps. And as you would have heard today, we've released some exciting new features around combinable discounts and functions for you to be building with. And speaking of new features and new areas, a hot tip is that bundles will be a big area for 2023. And finally, AR and VR. I wanted to call this out just as a way that you can, get ahead of the game with new trends. AR and VR in terms of merchandising is really at the beginning of its commerce journey. And so being at the forefront and a leader in that space will always be like the best place to be. We don't even know the solutions that could be, built until they are built. So be ahead and be aware of the industry trends. All right, let's do a quick recap. We've had a look at what merchants are wanting and looking for when choosing apps. We've spoken about a global opportunity that exists for app developers right now in the market, which is merchandising. Now let's zoom in and look at a couple more Asia Pacific specific needs. I didn't twist my words. And the problems that many merchants are trying to find solutions for. So what you're seeing here on the screen are the most frequently searched app store topics in Asia Pacific region. So online merge offline, this is a term known as kind of a few different terms. Online merge offline is also known as omnichannel, online to offline, O2O. So this really just reflects that broad need for connecting the offline and online customer journey. And in Asia Pacific, this is top of the list. Local invoice and local delivery. Now these terms showcase that all around Asia Pacific, commerce is done very differently. And the needs, the shipping options that are needed, the requirements with orders are very different from region to region. And we're going to look at a great partner story that helps to highlight this just in a minute. And finally, purchase options. We've spoken about this as a global need. Merchants are needing additional purchase options, and in Asia Pacific, it is no different. So things like subscriptions or order limits, try before you buy, again, that really is key. So they're great examples of where developers, partners can build tools that merchants need. So I thought the best way to kind of highlight how partners are solving these needs for merchants would be to share a few partner stories and show how an opportunity for merchants can also become one for you. So this merchant need for connecting the online and offline customer journey, it's crucial. With 59% of customers tell us that they are interested in buy online, pick up in store kinds of options. And omnichannel retailing, we know, boosts sales and engagements. But it's hard to do. You want to have the unified customer data. You want to be able to track and merge these things and see how the campaigns are resonating. And those are the spaces for tools to really help in this space. And I wanted to call out Wave Vouchers, built by our partner Wave Commerce. So this app enables merchants to sell digital vouchers for physical products in store, services, pre-sale, like high demand items. So think of things like Christmas hampers or mooncakes. You can actually sell digital vouchers for those in your online store, and with a QR code, the customers can seamlessly and easily pick them up in store. So it's really helping both the merchant to boost those online sales for offline products, and it's making it a delightful customer experience for them to purchase it online and pick it up in store smoothly through QR code. So it is a great example of how Shopify's ecosystem has been able to solve a crucial merchant business need. Another popular search that we saw was around local invoice and local delivery. And like I said, order requirements are very different throughout Asia Pacific, and also popular shipping options are extremely different. So convenience store pickup in regions like Taiwan and Japan, that's the most popular shipping method. But it's hard. I mean, there's countless convenience stores. To be able to show all of those locations to customers on the store is very difficult. And then you also have to think about how that data is being synced to that network for the customer to be able to pick it up. So I really wanted to highlight our partner ACO Hub, who Ray and his team are here in the audience, so shout out to Ray and the team at Acco Hub. Please go find them to talk about this more and engage, because they're going to tell their story much better than I will. But they created an app called the Taiwan Convenience Store Pickup and E-Invoice. And it does a couple of things. And I'll try my best, Ray, to capture this. But basically, it enables the merchant to give an e-map for the customer to select their pickup convenience store, of which in Taiwan there is around 16,000. So it's a lot. So the customer selects their location, checks out, they're happy because they've had like their most convenient shipping method. And then in the back end, that order data gets synced to the partner convenience store networks, and they get to pick it up and no worries. The other thing the app does, which is a secondary functionality, is it creates an e-invoice, which is actually regulation in Taiwan that has to be submitted to the government, and then the app is also helping with that. So just a really nice solution that has helped to solve that for merchants in Taiwan, and maybe there's other regions where you can think what is missing, that this kind of localized experience could be improved. So that leads me on nicely to our final section here before we get into any Q&A. How can you find opportunities just by looking in your own community? So as a launch engineer, I am constantly talking with merchants and helping them to find solutions to their issues. And I know a lot of you do the same day in, day out. And so it shouldn't be very hard for you to find opportunities, but here are a couple of good things to think about. Seek out the merchants in your community and just talk with them. Find where they hang out, whether it's in Facebook forums, Reddit, meetup groups, whatever it is. Find that place and just talk with them. Find what their pain points are, and that should be some good inspiration for things merchants might need. The second thing to do is to study any signs of merchant frustration. Things like negative reviews in the App Store, on comparison sites. There's always, a vast amount of data that you can look at for that kind of more negative sentiment, and that's just another way to see if there's any gaps in the market. And then finally, build for new functionality being released by Shopify. Shopify is gonna open the doors to some new opportunities, so really staying at the forefront of what we're doing and what we're releasing will serve you really well. So thank you. That's it. I really appreciate you coming for this final session here. And you've heard everyone say it, but feedback is a gift. I would love you to fill out this survey. It is super short, a couple of questions, and it helps us to make the content and unite even bigger and better next time. So thanks. I'll leave that up on screen and we can get into any questions.